Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into what is absolutely one of the most masterful pieces of American literature ever written, Emily Dickinson's poem, A Day. What we're going to do today is unpack this beautiful work of art, which somehow miraculously manages to map a single day, literally from the crack of dawn to the fall of night, onto an entire human life. It's an incredible journey, and I'm so excited to break it all down with you.
So, let me just ask you, what if the story of an entire human life could be told between sunrise and sunset? Just think about that for a second. We all know how much the weather and the light totally change how we feel about a day, right? A bright, sunny morning just gives us this incredible burst of warmth and energy, while the steady march from dawn to dusk gives our daily lives a really natural, comforting rhythm. Well, Dickinson takes that exact natural rhythm and takes us on a dual journey. On the surface, sure, we get the literal weather and light of a day, but right underneath that, there is a profound human metaphor unfolding.
Okay, let's jump right into it with the iconic opening lines of the poem. I'll tell you how the sun rose, a ribbon at a time. It's just such a striking image, isn't it? Right out of the gate, she establishes this amazing lyrical voice. She doesn't just say, hey, the sun came up. No, she describes a gradual, incredibly elegant event, a ribbon at a time. It immediately grounds us in this gentle, unfolding pace that sets the entire stage for what's to come.
Now, before we get deeper into the text, let's talk for a second about the brilliant yet unseen poet behind these words. Emily Dickinson was born in 1830 into a Puritan New England town. That environment deeply ingrained in her a Calvinist, Orthodox, and pretty conservative approach to Christianity. Throughout her life, she was incredibly prolific, but she kept her work almost entirely hidden. She'd regularly just enclose her poems in private letters to friends instead of trying to publish them. When she passed away in 1886, she basically had zero public fame. It was only posthumously that her work caught on, sparking a steady rise in popularity that eventually made her one of the most eminent poets of the entire 19th century.
What's truly fascinating, though, is the unique blend of influences that shaped her writing. Dickinson was heavily influenced by the metaphysical poets of 17th century England, as well as her intense reading of the Book of Revelation. But she took those deep historical and religious foundations and created something entirely new out of them. In fact, today, Dickinson, alongside Walt Whitman, is widely considered a co-founder of a uniquely American poetic voice.
And that highly unique voice is what builds the core structure of A Day. What we're going to trace today is how Dickinson masterfully uses symbolism to map out a chronological progression. Think of it in 4 steps. Step 1, sunrise, representing birth and childhood. Step 2, midday light, which signifies youth, growth, and vibrant energy. Step 3, sunset, reflecting old age. And finally, step 4, night, representing death or a peaceful eternal rest.
To fully appreciate how she paints the sunrise, we need to do a quick vocabulary check. One key term she uses is amethyst. It's a purple precious stone often used in jewelry. Keep this vibrant, beautiful violet color in the back of your mind as we look at how she colors the morning sky.
Another fun word she drops is bobolinks. These are little songbirds with large, somewhat flat heads, short necks, and short tails. Understanding this whimsical 19th century nature imagery is actually super important because it brings all the bustling, noisy energy of her morning scene completely to life.
All right, let's look at the actual text of these first 2 stanzas because the energy here is just off the charts. The steeples swam in amethyst, the news like squirrels ran, the hills untied their bonnets, the bobolings begun. Wow. So the morning light hits the church steeples, giving them this rich, violet jewel-like glow. And look at her use of simile here, comparing the rapid spread of the morning light to darting squirrels. She even uses personification as the morning mist lifts, making it seem like the waking hills are literally taking off their hats or bonnets. And then, right on cue, the songbirds start to sing.
This totally nails the poem's dual nature. Literally speaking, we just have an active witness watching the morning mist lift and hearing the birds sing. But metaphorically, we are witnessing the beautiful, messy transformation of birth and childhood. It perfectly captures that pure innocence, the rapid, squirrel-like growth, and the vibrant energy of a brand new life that's just starting to spread its wings.
So we've experienced the bright, buzzing energy of morning, but as the day moves on, things start to change. Which brings up a big question. How exactly does she describe the setting sun? As we transition to the second half of the poem, which represents the later stages of human life, the pacing really slows down. The bright certainty of the morning completely gives way to something far more elusive.
To visualize this shift, we need one more definition from Dickinson's time: a stile. Basically, this is a set of steps that helps people climb over a fence or a wall, something you'd commonly see in a rural village. Dickinson uses this style as both a literal and a metaphorical barrier that the fading daylight has to cross over in order to leave.
Notice how the whole vibe shifts toward mystery right here. But how he set, I not. There seemed a purple stile which little yellow boys and girls were climbing all the while. The speaker outright admits they just do not fully understand the mechanism of the sunset. Those brilliant rays of fading light are imagined as little yellow boys and girls climbing over that purple stile, disappearing over the boundary. It's a deeply mysterious process. The speaker isn't a confident witness anymore. They're observing a transition that they can't entirely wrap their head around.
As those rays of light cross the boundary, we meet the final figure in the poem. The word she uses is dominie. Depending on where you were at the time, this meant either a Scottish schoolmaster or a U.S. pastor or clergyman. It is a figure of gentle authority, and this specific word sets up the profound sense of closure at the end of our day.
And here is the incredibly peaceful conclusion. A dominie in gray put gently up the evening bars and led the flock away. When the light finally reaches the other side, night arrives. This gentle schoolmaster or pastor figure in gray softly closes the evening bars, essentially putting the whole day to bed. He leads the light and humanity itself away into the quiet safety of the night.
The crucial point to take away here is the duality of this image. Literally, yeah, we are reading about a figure closing the farm gates as night rolls in. But metaphorically, this represents the transition from old age into eternal rest or the spiritual afterlife. It's the peaceful end of a life. Dickinson manages to take the often frightening concept of death and completely transforms it into a gentle, guided departure led by a protective, pastoral figure. Dickinson connects these simple, everyday wonders to the profound journey of life through absolute technical brilliance. For example, she famously uses the hyphen or dash to create these really meaningful pauses. This actually forces the reader to slow down, perfectly matching the elegant, gradual rise of the sun. Combine that with a highly lyrical and sonorous rhyme scheme, plus those incredible literary devices like the simile of running squirrels and the personification of the waking hills, and she crafts an absolute rhythmic masterpiece.
What's truly mind-blowing to me is the dual appeal of this poem. It totally changes depending on who's reading it. A child can read this text and find a whimsical, playful story full of innocent imagery: yellow boys and girls, darting squirrels, hills wearing little bonnets. It's delightful. But from an adult's perspective, it opens up into a profoundly accessible philosophical meditation on existence and mortality. It quite literally leads the reader seamlessly from innocence to experience.
We can also draw some pretty cool parallels between the poem's structure and the everyday narrative arcs we all go through. Think about it. The cycle of this poem perfectly reflects a typical school day. You've got the bright anticipation of morning arrival, the active, energetic engagement of classes in recess, and finally, the quiet closure of the final bell. It also sits beautifully alongside other reflective works like A Fine Morning, which similarly uses vivid nature imagery to celebrate the breaking of dawn. Every single day contains a narrative arc.
Dickinson took the simple, daily progression of weather and light and held up a mirror to the entire human condition. From the innocent ribbons of sunrise to the mysterious, gentle guidance of the night, she mapped out the complete dawn of experience. So, I want to leave you with this to ponder. How does the cycle of a single day reflect the arc of your own life? Tomorrow morning, take a look around, observe the light, and think about the chapter you're currently in. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredible poem. Keep learning, keep looking closely at the world around you, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.